So how can the same piece of steel be super tough or surprisingly brittle? We're going to dig into that.
See, inside one piece of steel, you can get these chaotic structures or perfectly aligned ones. So, why?
To crack this case, you gotta meet our main character, a structure called acicular ferrite. Think of it like a tangled web of super strong needles. This chaos is actually what makes steel tough.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. Acicular ferrite has a structural twin named bainite.
They're basically born the same way, just in different spots. And that location, it changes everything.
The key thing is they both physically push the surrounding metal around as they grow.
You know, that physical pushing gave scientists an idea. What if you applied force during this transformation?
All right, so let's look at the experiment. They used this really smart two-step process to isolate the ferrite.
Next, they applied some serious pressure, 174 megapascals. Not enough to permanently bend the steel, though.
And the result was, well, dramatic. The random needles just snapped right into a perfect alignment.
I mean, check out the difference here. What was totally random became orderly and super simple.
So why did this happen? Well, the stress basically acts like a director, favoring needles that align with it.
And the measurements provided the final proof. Under stress, the sample actually got shorter as it transformed.
So the steel was physically reconfiguring itself to relieve that pressure. Pretty cool, right?
Okay, so why should we care about a lab experiment? Because this exact thing happens in the real world.
Yeah, the intense heating and cooling from welding, it creates massive internal stresses inside the steel.
This means those stresses inside a weld can totally dictate the final microstructure and its strength.
And that's the big takeaway. Understanding this lets us build much stronger and more reliable structures.
It kind of makes you wonder, right? How many other materials are being shaped by forces we can't even see?